What's up, guys? It's Tyler here, and welcome back to my channel. And I thought today, let's talk about something near and dear to my heart, and that is why budget travel is just the best way to travel. So let's go check it out. We need to go outside and just go enjoy ourselves. It's such a beautiful day out there right now. It's a little bright, as you can see, but it is amazing. I thought we'd just go walk around a little park that's relatively close to here, and let's walk and talk. I always like to say bye to my animals, so bye, Emma. Bye, bud. I'll see you a little bit later. And then we also gotta say bye to the little Stella here. See you, girly. Good girl. Yeah, she always has the puppy dog sad face. What better way to get out in SoCal than to get on some flip-flops? Alright guys, we're on our way to the park now, and I thought this would be a good time to just stop real quick, and we have to talk about the biggest thing that you need to know and why budget travel is the best way to travel. And that is really that you prioritize the type of travel that you do. And I think that is key. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that is that each person, each traveler has their own way of dictating how they're going to spend their resources and their time, their money. In kind of 4 different categories is what I like to break them up into. One of them being food, one of them being accommodation, one of them being experiences or the types of activities that you're going to be doing. And then the last one is going to be transportation, like flights, buses, anything like that. And you really get to pick where you put your money. In my case, I'm a big activity man. I love to do anything outdoors, any type of fun experience. That's where most of my money is going. Some people though, like my brother is a different example though. He will put all of his money into food, maybe a little bit into accommodation and activities. So you're gonna be seeing a different spectrum of people. You're gonna prioritize what you're gonna be able to do. And that is key. So let's just break down an example real quick. You have $1,500, you're going to Thailand. Yes, you're stoked. This is awesome. I would love to do that too. We're gonna have 2 examples. One, the way I would do it, and maybe another way another person would do it. So from there, we're going to say $500 right out the gate is going to an economy-based flight. So cool, we have about $1,000 to play with. One person could make the argument to do a nice 5-star hotel, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you stay at the JW Marriott for a couple nights. Let's just say it's about $70 a night when I last looked it up. That puts you at about $500. I rounded up a little bit, but let's just say about $500 for your week-long trip. In my case, I'm gonna stay in a hostel the whole time, spend about $6 a night, and then roughly boo about $50 in accommodation costs. What we can see there is my money is being put into things that I think are more important. There's a little bit of a difference when you go into that. You got about $500 left for food and activities in the first example, and in my example, you have about $950. So you can really dive deep into some of those amazing experiences in my case, or if you want to stay at a nice resort or 5-star hotel, that's where a lot of that money is. So that is a huge example, and I wanted to show that budget travel does not mean cheap travel. I hear this all the time, and I think that is a huge misnomer. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, and it should be taken from the language with budget travel. It just means we allocate our resources to something we think is more important. And that does not mean we're cheap. We just know how to use our resources wisely, which is a huge, great skill to have. We're just creative people. If you don't already know what type of traveler you are, that's fine. Go figure it out. Are you a foodie? Are you a person who's going to stay at a nice place? You need a 5-star resort? Are you a person like me who's going to go out and just do as much as you can while you're there? Or do you need, business class, first class flight? No judgment. You just have to know who you are and be able to budget that for who you are as a person and traveler. If you don't already know, do it one time, think about it, you'll know almost immediately. So that's my first point that I think everybody needs to know about. I would also love to know too, what type of traveler are you? Leave a comment down below there. Another way that budget travel, much as like what we're doing now, is so great is that you get to do lots and lots of walking. Usually to save costs with transportation, you're going to be doing quite a bit of walking, and I'm known around my friend group for being the guy who's like, hey, 10 miles? No biggie, let's save $5, why not? And I am walking all over the place. Anybody who goes with me is ready. They're bringing their running shoes, and I love it. But if you want to do that, that's great. That saves you money, but it also gets you into the culture more. You're actually going to be using the transportation and routes that people in that area are going to be using more, instead of just hopping in a taxi, making somebody else drive you there, and you don't quite get to experience all of the in-between. You might be twiddling your thumbs on your phone and not really enjoying the time. And that is super key in what I do when I'm going around and walking. You're experiencing, you're slowing down a bit. It is phenomenal. Saves you money and you get to experience more. And I think that that's fantastic. And hey, you get to lose some weight too. So that's always, you get to burn some calories. Who doesn't like that? We all need some of that. I know, I do too. All right, if you are going to use a taxi service or something like that, what I recommend is you walk there first. Walk there first, use the energy that you got in the morning and power through it. And then so at the nighttime when you're ready and you're done for the day, you can just go chill and have somebody take you home. Because you're already done for the day. That's the best part. Don't be like me when I went to the Rio. The Rio is a buffet over in Las Vegas, if you haven't been there. We took a taxi there first. We went there and we had about 18 plates of food. Do not recommend, but we were in a competition trying to see how much we could eat, and we really wanted to make our money back. Don't do that, because I felt horrible. We walked back because we didn't have enough money to take a taxi back, so we had to walk quite a ways to the Mandalay Bay, which is where we stayed at. It was a thing. Food hangover, that was a thing. Food coma was a thing. So take my advice, walk there, taxi home. You'll be good. All right, guys, we made it to the park. It's super sunny. I would take off my sunglasses, but I'm gonna be blind. So I'm gonna leave them on. But I think we're gonna chill over here. There's some nice benches. We can talk about our next couple points just right over here. So the next thing, and I think there should be a huge warning, I'm about to pitch something. And I think that everyone should do it. And what that is that I think everyone should go out at one point in their lives and do solo traveling. Yes, go by yourself to whatever country, state, doesn't matter. Try it out for yourself. It is one of the best ways to do travel, especially budget travel. And one of the biggest reasons is there are no compromises whatsoever. So that means you can save quite a bit of money to be able to go and, in my case, stay in the lowest end hotels or hostels. It is phenomenal to where you can put the money where you want it to be. And your priorities are always your own and not the group's. I've been with so many groups now that have kind of shifted the way in which we do some of the travel. And it's been really fun, but you haven't been able to get everything in, and I tend to spend a little bit more money with them. Sure, you can pool your money, get a nicer place, pay with the accommodation. You can also make food together. But again, those aren't too big of concerns for me and my goals. I do love to go with people, but I think everybody should go around. And here's one good example where no compromises were made. I was over in Thailand. We were going over to the Sticky Waterfalls, which is about an hour and a half or so from Chiang Mai up north. And it was raining. It was not a great day to go, but it was the only day I could go. And in this case, it's very difficult to get people on track. Not only to go an hour and a half on a motorcycle, some people aren't even comfortable with that. This is one of the first times I've been driving a motorcycle, so there's also that too to think about. On top of that, it was pouring. It's monsoon season over in July, August. So really, it wasn't the safest conditions for that hour and a half of driving. And then 3, once you got to the actual location, it was mud everywhere. Well, dirt that turned into mud, and you had to take your bike all the way through it, on the way in and on the way out. I still think it was 100% worth it, but just going back to that, the compromise thing, if I had other people who weren't down like I was to go there, I may never have seen that place, and it was one of my favorite experiences in Thailand. So really, again, everybody try it out, get out there, enjoy yourself, because solo travel is one of the few things that makes me more excited in life. So do that. Let me know how it is. If you don't like it, at least you can say you did it. All right, I think this is a little bit better now because we're out of the sun. Looks a little bit nicer here. But the next point we need to bring up, and it's a really quick one, but I think people overlook it a lot. There's a budget in budget travel. And again, not cheap travel, budget travel. Let's keep saying that together. But this budget, you can allot for it, and you know about how much you're going to be spending. I'll go into a deeper dive and a different video later on to showcase what that really means and how we can do that effectively. But in essence, you budget for something. Let's say it's a $1,500 or $2,000 trip that you've already put the money aside. You know what you're using it on. You go on that trip and you just have fun. No stress, no thinking about it. It is all just enjoy your time while you're there. And I think that needs to be the essence of a lot of people's travels. I've went around with people while I'm traveling and they're always worried about the money that they're spending. I'm like, come on guys, I've already put it aside. Like I knew what I was going to spend roughly. Of course, there's some things here or there that you have to increase or decrease the amount you spend. But honestly, I'm here to have fun. So let's do that. And I think people need to take that to heart more often. And we will build those skills together in other videos on how we can do that more effectively. I do have to put a disclaimer to that though. That is if it's budgeted and planned well. Of course, people can go overboard and disasters can happen. But assuming things are planned and done well beforehand, you're good to go. All right, cool. Let's not get hit by cars. But I guess the next point that we need to get into is that when you're going, you're usually going with cheaper accommodation. Not always, but let's assume that you're using a hostel or couch surfing style service to where you're paying very limited amounts, and there are usually more people that you can either share a room with or you're bunking in for free. This is one of the coolest places to experience a country, but because you can meet people there, and those people can be all sorts of fun people. They can show you things from the different types of places you can go. They might know a really cool place to eat that they've already eaten at, and you can take them to. And the cool part is most people in those areas are very like-minded individuals. And that is fantastic because they're willing to get out there with you for the most part and do what you want to do. Again, if you're by yourself, no compromises. If you want to go with them, you do. If you don't, you go do something else. So it's a very easy, no strings attached type of commitment and friendship. Another cool thing, I know so many people around the world now that you can just stay with them. And I have also put my house out there for them as well. So it is a communal type of feeling and it is fantastic. One example of this is when I was out there in Thailand and I didn't know kind of the area over in Krabi too well. I found some people over in my hostel. They told me about this tiger temple. We went together. It was my first time on a motorcycle, so that was a little sketchy by itself. It's only about 20 minutes away. We went up there, thousands of steps later, and oh my God, I was dying. Oh, the view was phenomenal. And that is something I would have never been able to do if I wouldn't have met those Europeans that I did that day. And that kind of that week, because I was hanging around with them for a couple other days. But those types of things you don't get by yourself. If you were in like a hotel or this or that, you can go do that, you can go plan it, but these kind of let's just go and experience things off the cuff don't happen unless you're in these hostels and couch surfing environments. So I do recommend if you want to go into an area, start there. You can get in, save your money with that, meet these people, do some experiences, and then from there you can go into the higher end places, resorts and all that. You now have contacts and you're now ready to go do all the fun stuff. Again, prioritize. It's whatever you want. With budget traveling, I think one of the most overlooked reasons is that you can travel more. It seems like a no-brainer, but it makes so much sense when you use proper budgeting techniques and when you actually do save money. What that means is you can experience more, you can taste more, you can see more. Like, I just don't know why people don't do it more often. It is the best way to travel because you can do more of it more often throughout your life. And for me, I'm here, again, about experiences. I'm here to enjoy life. And the best way to do it is just to keep doing it more and more and more. Because each trip, let me tell you, is way different than the others. There's always something new to be learned. from a different culture, from a different person, from all the experiences that you gain from it. And if I could spend and use my money on anything, it is going to be on that. It's something that you can't bring to words for some of the things that you get to do while you're abroad. And people need to get out there more, especially in America, where a lot of my friends have not gotten out there. And there are ways to do it. All right, guys, we've come to the kind of, I think, a good way to end it. Good area, nice hills. It's been a lovely year with rain, so we've had a lot of green actually in SoCal. With that, I want to end with budget travel is so amazing because you get to do it more often, you get to feel the interactions you get with cultures, and you get to really slow down in life. Again, we're traveling more, we get to react and act more with these different environments and cultures that make us better as we get to view them and experience them. And I think that being able to slow down in our super busy, technologically driven lives is something everybody needs to do. And for me, while I'm traveling, I am truly living. So every time I get to go out there, there's nothing better than me being able to wake up and be like, hey, what am I doing today? What am I gonna see today? Sometimes I know, sometimes I'm like, hey, let's just see what happens. And that is the best feeling. And if I can keep doing that, I'll be the luckiest person alive. If you guys can't get out now because of the pandemic, get ready for it. We're coming in hot, and I cannot wait to do a lot more budget traveling and just traveling in general, because that is the best thing. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Hey, Emma.